Great. Could you tell me a little bit about what your message is?
No thanks. Don't want to talk to a rebel.
Yeah.
Fuck off and go away.
Don't touch me.
Fuck off and go away with that fucking bullshit. Get the fuck out of here.
I just want to know what you think about how hypocritical you appear with these plastic tarps.
Wow. They're made out of plastic? I had no idea. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're made out of plastic. I didn't know that. Fuck off and go away.
Are you actually not aware, or you're just joking around, I guess?
Do I look stupid? No, I think...
Well, you kind of do, because you're protesting the oil sands. You're protesting... Well, actually, I'm not too sure what you're protesting. Obviously...
We're protesting shitheads like you.
Obviously, you're not a fan of plastic.
Women at a camp last year.
What?
You threatened women at a camp
last year. No, I didn't. You're absolutely crazy.
Your group.
You're crazy. Crazy. I didn't do that at all.
Get the hell out of here!
Chill out. John is his name.
That's our own Keean Bexte talking to a group of protesters, including a grown-up who should know better, who, when asked why he was using a plastic tarp made from petrochemicals, after a torrent of profanity, hit Keean, causing his microphone to break and smash on the pavement. What a strange, violent, and cowardly reaction. We didn't know who he was, but there was a moment that he didn't have his mask on. We published his face to the internet, offered a $500 reward, and in fact, John O'Brien was identified, and today our lawyers fired off a letter to the Ottawa police asking them to investigate. Joining us now via Skype from Calgary is Keean Bexte. Keean, great to see you.
Hey, great to be here.
It happens too often that our people are attacked. You, Sheila, David Menzies. It happens too often. And I don't think that it's anything we're doing wrong. Your questions may have annoyed John O'Brien, but that's not excuse for him to immediately snap and become violent. He was on Parliament Hill for a public protest designed to communicate a message. You were simply asking him questions about it. Why do you think the left now has as one of their chief tactics physically attacking conservative-leaning reporters?
Because they have nowhere else to go. John O'Brien is the typical case of these radicals who have been, these extremists who have been radicalized by the likes of Catherine McKenna. Catherine McKenna, and I was saying this in my story that I published earlier today, Ezra, is that in her rhetoric, she acts like the world will end, and people who are opposed to this sort of radical brand of climate justice are deniers, akin to Holocaust deniers. They are evil, they are vile people, and they deserve what's coming to them. And then John O'Brien, well, he takes that message and he takes it to the streets. So I think we're probably going to be seeing more of this.
You know, this isn't the first time that people have been hopped up on an ideological propaganda. We saw it during the Cold War. I think what's new is that these propagandists, these ideological extremists who have been radicalized, I think what's new is that they see violence as a default setting. In the past, they would nag you or haggle you or debate you. I just don't think violence was the first on their list of to-do when encountering a critic. I think that's new. I don't think it's new that you've got a wacko, hardcore ideologue hanging out on Parliament Hill talking to anyone who'll listen. I think that's as old as time. I think what's new is the violence.
Yeah, I mean, you've been around longer than me. I certainly, I feel like I was born into this, having just graduated university and starting at Rebel News. It seems like violence was always the default to me, but like I said, I haven't been playing the game for as long. Since I started at Rebel News when I was at Ottawa, my first interaction with these violent extremists was with Antifa, when they took my camera and threw it on the ground after punching me when I was covering the United We Roll convoy in Ottawa. It seems like it's second nature to these people, and I'll take your word for it that it's not something that has been going on for a long time.
I mean, there's been violent eras before. I was just reading an essay in the magazine First Things about how violence was commonplace. There were literally thousands of assassinations, bomb attacks, stabbings in Russia during the revolution by all parties, and it became normalized and accepted, and the intelligentsia thought that violence was the noblest ideal. I think one of the differences is that, I can't help but notice that when Justin Trudeau himself and Catherine McKenna herself object to Rebel News reporters, and you in particular, you talked about the rhetoric they use, but Trudeau has turned the neutral, nonpartisan police into his nightclub-style bouncers. And I recall when you went to Rideau Cottage to ask him questions in the morning scrum, he had the RCMP forcibly frog march you off the property. Frankly, it probably counts as a legal assault on you. I think maybe, there's a saying that fish rots from the head down. If people see Justin Trudeau using police to physically shut up critics,
Yep.
Even Andrew Scheer, the low-energy, poor judgment interim leader of the Conservative Party, who's thankfully relegated to a footnote in history, even he called police to handcuff David Menzies. So I guess when the political bosses resort to physicality, why shouldn't some loser named John O'Brien on the street punch a microphone? I mean, why not? Everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it's worth noting that it wasn't, when I was at Justin Trudeau's residence at that press conference, it was Justin Trudeau's media boss, Terry Keean, who directed the RCMP to do what they did. This is standard practice for them, for liberals, for leftists, against journalists who share the other side of the story. This is their marching orders. You're right about that. They take it from the leader, Catherine McKenna, Justin Trudeau, and his henchmen, and they're just following the leader.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.